All right, good morning. Good morning, Jim Cagnina here with NinjaTrader. Let's do a sound check. Good morning. You should just see a webpage titled Daily Training in Education, and then on the right-hand side, quote board and dome, a little chart. Ken, thank you for that. I got a sound in page good. Awesome. We're gonna get started right on time here. I just thought I'd get here a few minutes early, just to kind of make sure my headset was working. We had electricity to the building and we're ready to go. We have quite a bit of excitement here this morning. We'll talk about that in some pretty big detail here. It's we're hitting rock bottom and digging on the E-mini S&P along with the bonds. It's truly an outstanding morning. A lot of opportunities, a lot of risk, a lot of good stuff. Bob, ready to go? Awesome. Keith, thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate it. We'll start right on time. I don't want to jump the gun, so to speak. And I'm just going to move someone asked about this earlier. I'm just moving my web page over a little bit. And right where my crosshairs is, I have a time remaining. Everyone, it's very popular question is, hey, could I have a countdown timer? So the answer is yes. I put it up there begrudgingly, but it's kind of subtle. It doesn't really bother me. So I'm going to leave it up there right now. That time remaining until the next candle kind of pops up. Surprisingly a popular feature for me. I don't know. I just kind of like to look at the candles and see them move, but I understand the appeal. And so you asked, and it is here. And if Paulie is in today, drop me off a note here. Say hello. I got some answers for you on Tick and Trin also. I don't know if he's in yet or not. But we're gonna, the nice thing about the countdown timers, it tells me exactly when I could officially start the webinar. We got 48 seconds. We could officially start. It's already happening. How do you get the timer on the chart? I'll show you in a second. It's really easy with NinjaTrader. Everything's really easy with NinjaTrader. So I'll get it going. David, good morning. I thank you. I am well. Woke up this morning, felt pretty good. Walked the dog. Had about 7 cups of coffee, and I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay too, David. Thanks for asking. The page I have up there right now, this is just the schedule, right? Things are changing here. We're doing more and more events. We're trying to be creative. We're trying to listen to what you guys want. Yeah, only 7. They were little cups though. They were, only 8 ounces, 10 ounces. So Tuesday and Wednesday as usual, right here on the NinjaTrader.com platform training page. And tomorrow's Wednesday, right? At noon, I'm going to do a top 5 indicators, and I'm going to go over some, at least in my mind, 5 top indicators, and we'll go into detail how to add them to the chart, how to customize them, and all that stuff. And then if you're new to futures, or even if you just want a refresher course, Thursday I'm doing a futures trading 101. And that one's going to be pretty. That's going to take the full hour. We're going to cover everything: contract specs, margins, the history of all that good stuff. And then there's these other events too are awesome. Getting started with NinjaTrader, order entry, trade management, charting, and additional training. So feel free to attend any of these that you want. Good morning, everybody else who's popping in. I really appreciate it. John, Javanlal, did I say that right? Oliver, first time on NinjaTrader webinar. Awesome. All right, let's get started here. Thanks for coming, everybody. My name is Jim Cagnina. This is our Tuesday and Wednesday regular event. And I do want to remind everybody that trading futures options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although that's an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition: money I could afford to lose, doesn't lengthen my retirement horizon. and doesn't overly anger Mrs. Cagnina. Now that third part's a little tongue in cheek, only a little tongue in cheek, because stress in life matters. You want to be in a good place. At least in my opinion, we make bad decisions when we're under too much stress. So be in a good place, risk capital, easy on the day trade margins. Yes, NinjaTrader offers low day trade margins, but use them, use them appropriately. And if you need help on that, just, reach out to us and we'll talk to you about it as we go. We're going to be I'm logged in real-time sim mode today. Simulated live mode. So these are going to be sim trades that we're looking at, but the data is real time and the platform is the real deal. And then lastly, past performance not indicative of future results. We're not going to talk about past performance at all. Never do. We're just going to kind of, learn as we go. And I'm going to kind of be looking at the E-mini S&P market. Although today's an unusual day. Let's just pop up a daily chart real fast here. And let me just kind of format it a little bit easier. Really easy to format charts here. On NinjaTrader, you're just going to kind of manipulate my screen to maximize the space here so we can kind of see what's going on. So we've had this long-term bull market, right, for what? Since 2010, 2009, years, right? And occasionally we have these waves, these waves up, these waves down, these waves up, down, up, down, up, down. And, we're at a point in time where we have a lot of things going on, right? We have debt ceiling questions, we have tapering questions, we have, hopefully we're entering into a post-COVID era. So a lot of unique things are going on. The US dollar is getting stronger, gold's getting weaker. So there's a lot of things that are going on that are unique to this era, right? They're unique to this era. So, which is good for us because that means maybe there's more volatility coming in, maybe there's more opportunity coming in for us to take advantage of some of the price action that we see as day traders. And Frank, I will go over that I will go over this in detail. So this daily candle is a daily candle chart. I have 100-day simple moving average. That's that blue line. And you can see we've been trading last four sessions, we've been trading around it. Now we're on grounds to breaking through it as we did previously. The 100 period, oops, I'm sorry. This is 50. My drawing skills are a little less skillful than some of the other things. This is a 50 SMA, 50, and you can see, and I'll show you how. I'm just going to go to indicators here and show you how to just double check, right? So we have the simple moving average 50-day. There's 50. We have the 100, which is the green. I tried to color code it there. I just didn't update my text tool. And here are all the other indicators available. So from an indicator point of view, I only have two moving averages up here. That's it. That's it. And, we're trading between these two, which is interesting to me. We're nowhere near the 150-day, but, we start trading below 100, and that's not a really good, we start closing candles below the 100-day simple moving average, and that's going to suggest a really strong bearish move in this market. The other information I have up here is this random it's not even a random trend line. It's just a trend line I drew. And I tried to pick off the tops of these, and we've closed above it once. We closed above it a second time, but now we're kind of driving back down below it. So I'm going to keep an eye on this trend line going forward here to see, are we going to be trading above it or below it on a day-to-day basis? So that's kind of important to me. The Fibonacci retracement here is just from the highs, which happened. Let me get my crosshairs out so I could be precise. On September 3rd to the low, this really big shadow or wick on this particular candle on the 20th, 17 days later. And so I drew a Fibonacci retracement there. And you can see right now we're trading below the 38.2 and we're approaching the 23.6. And in my opinion, there's a lot of downside here. There's a lot of downside here, especially today, a lot of uncertainty with what's going on. The Fed people are out speaking all over the place, trying to calm things down. But this is a pretty substantive candle. And if I put my cursor on it and I push down my mouse, you're going to see the high to low, right? You see all the stats of this particular candle. I'm just holding my roller down, the roller and the mouse, the thing in the middle. And high to low, I mean, we're looking at 42 plus 29. And someone smarter than me will be able to do the math. 71 handles or 71 points on this particular candle. That's pretty big. that's a lot of volatility. It's a lot of price action. That's a big move. So right now, in my mind, it's not time to buy anything, right? In my mind, we're looking for places maybe to sell. See if we can get some retracements on a 10-minute. Let's take a look at the 10-minute real fast, and I'll pull that up right now. And here's the 10-minute chart. I have a little bit more information on the 10-minute chart than I did on the daily chart, and I'll explain what I got going on here. I have the volume profile on the left. I have yesterday's low. I have yesterday's close. Those are dotted lines. I have the commodity channel index on the bottom. This is my oscillator, minus 280, very, very negative. We have a moving average cross here, which represents just a 6 and a 26. It looks like the cross right now, let me kind of move this up a little bit so you can see it better, is it's diverging instead of converging. So we've seen a lot of negative stuff here right now on the chart today. And again, we're just hitting rock bottom and we're still going. If I try to draw a fib line, I really can't. I mean, I could, but it won't. It's meaningless because I have to keep trying to find the bottom. And as we're making new bottoms, there's no bottom. So we're going to wait. We're going to see if some sort of stability pops in here, and we finally find, some bids kind of pick up, and we get some sort of area of support. But right now, we're digging, and we're hitting rock bottom, and we're still going. Frank says, what are the indicators in your chart? Okay, so it is volume profile. Let me just right click and shoot. Let me just right click, and I'll get indicators, the indicator control window here. I have two simple moving averages. I have a 26 period, which is my slow. I have a 6, which is my fast. My commodity channel CCI is my oscillator. You could use whatever oscillator you like, RSI, MACD, awesome oscillator. All those stuff are valid, and oscillators do exactly that. They oscillate around some kind of center line and some kind of upper lower band, and they have some sort of a formula in between to calculate the oscillation. Generally you could use the oscillators to determine overbought and oversold, but you could also use them to determine velocity and momentum. And you can see the slope of the CCI is pretty intense right now, minus 303, very, very negative. Order flow volume profile. I have the order flow volume profile. That's this volume profile on the left-hand side here, right there. And there's my bar timer. Somebody asked me how to add a bar timer, which is right on the right-hand side here. And in 10 seconds, we'll have another bar. No, we won't. Let's see, bar timer. Oh, on each tick. Yep. And it's in this list here, so it's on this list to add it right there. Okay, let's go ahead now. I believe my computer clock is funky, guys. That's why you're seeing it that way, because my computer clock is giving me a new bar, 10-10. Okay, I got to get that in sync. That's my bad. Anyway, let's just keep focusing here on this. Again, you got to move the fib line down. And really, in my mind right now, I'm not interested in buying anything right now. I'm interested in looking for a retracement back up to one of my fib numbers. And I'm going to kind of line that up with the volume profile, see if it makes sense. Now, the value area now is pretty low. So the value area is less than 23.6%. So from a trade entry point of view, I'd be looking at considering another a short opportunity somewhere between the bottom of the value area and that 23.6% retracement level, but not until a bottom is established. There's no bottom established right now. We're kind of just bouncing around. So yeah, and you could see there's some text in the upper left, as Avna points out, there's text in the upper left-hand corner that shows you what we have posted on there as we go. So yeah, so with NinjaTrader, with the order flow package, and just let me show you, because it looks like Frank is interested in the order flow package. And when you refer to price profile, what are you referring to, Frank? Are you referring to market profile or volume profile or number bars, or what what are we talking here? I mean, the order flow volume profile, we could do all sorts of stuff too, right? We could add numbers, the actual numbers in each histogram bar. We could bifurcate it between buy and sell. We could really customize it in a pretty subset way. We could put we could have volume by buy and sell. We could put the actual volume numbers in those histogram bars, all that kind of stuff. And this is what I'm calling volume profile, because that's what it is. It's just tracking volume. Each histogram bar is just tracking the volume, and I'll make it a little bit bigger so we could see it better. I'll make the size of each histogram bar, the height of each histogram bar 4, and then at the bottom here, I'm going to make sure all the fonts and everything is good. It looks like we're good. And I wouldn't change anything else. I'm going to hit apply and OK. And you can see there's it's hard to see the numbers right now because the range is so huge today. But let me just kind of zoom in a little bit so we can see a little bit better. So each one of these histogram bars is worth 4 ticks. This is the point of control. The longest one is color coded. And what this is saying is in this 4 tick range, there was 33,143 contracts traded. That's all this is. And it's looking at this it's cumulative since the start of the day. That's how I have it set up. You don't have to have it set up that way. That's how I have it set up that way. And what it does, it gives me a kind of an overall entire field view of where buyers and sellers agreed to make trades throughout the session right now. And it also will help me show where potential equilibrium is, right? So the point of control, like I said, is pretty high up here right now, and it's a pretty big volume bar. Right now, we have less volume driving down into the area where we're at right now, and we still haven't found a bottom yet. So yeah, you can do a breakout trade and just go short right now if you wanted to. But I'm going to prefer to let's just see how things settle down here. Now, this could be one of these days where it's just down, 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 down the entire day. So it's really easy. I'm going to just turn on my chart trader here. I'm going to keep it hidden. Terrence, thank you. Thank you. I mean, and it's not, there's no, really what we want to see is a normal distribution, right? A kind of a bell-shaped curve right now. And it's a long way from being that right now, because early night we had some, we started to develop this little distribution at the top here, and then, sure enough, probably around the, 2 o'clock, around the Frankfurt Open, the German Open, sellers just started coming in, that really woke up everybody, right? 2 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time. Europe is opening up and getting busy, and that busyness translated into just a downward spiral. And so we got to the point of control. And it's dynamic. It'll change, right? These bars change. They move in real time as volume is accumulating. And you can see it at the bottom here. Let's just kind of pull it up here so we can see it a little bit better. You can see it move. Now you see it moving. This is another good way to explain it. This bar right here now is accumulating volume, right? 5,000, 5,300, 5,600. And it's a 4-tick view. So that's when I say these bars could change, that they will change, right? I'm going to go ahead and again change my fib line. I'm chasing this down to a lower level because again, we haven't found the bottom yet. We haven't found a floor yet. Speaking of volume profile, though, another trick you could use if you're interested in this is by using the trading dome here. You could add that as well. You just kind of right click. Again, everything's kind of right click, right? Columns. I'll add the volume. I'm going to add it to the trading dome, and then I am going to show the volume text, which are the numbers. Apply and OK. And let me kind of move this over so we can see it a little better. It'll populate. So this is tick by tick volume profile on the trading ladder itself. It's pretty cool, I think. So you kind of see now we're trying to develop a little bit of a accumulation, around 69, 43.69, and we'll see if that kind of holds and starts developing, maybe some sort of price happiness. Maybe not. Maybe we'll keep going down and down. But anyway, that's a way to configure the trading ladder. And trading ladder, there's a lot of stuff you can do with the trading ladder, but in the interest of presentation, I just would, I really just kind of want to show focus on the charts. It's easier to talk about stuff just on the charts. I'm going to remove that for now. Pull it back over here. So it's just it's a pretty nice feature on the actual trading dome. Let me just push that over here a little bit. All right. Okay, David from YouTube, is the histogram on the left of your chart provided with basic or only part of the Ninja purchase or subscription? So this is a great question, David. This is going to be the lifetime license version, right? You get all the order flow tools with the lifetime license version. So that's one of two reasons why why traders might want to consider the lifetime license. And you know, you could buy it up front or you could do it in installments. I know it's kind of like, why would I spend $1,099 on a platform? Well, you get, reason number one is you get all these order flow tools, right? And it's good forever, right? It's called the lifetime license for a reason. You get the order flow tools as an example. You could trade from the chart as an example. But really, you know, your commission rates are a lot less. So if you plan on trading for a while, or if you're a higher volume trader, you know, your commission rate on a micro, as an example, is 9 cents, right? So that's why if you have the free version, you know, I would say, you know, you could do the math and you could say, okay, here's the differential between my two rates. Here's what my expected volume is going to be over the next few months, and you could calculate where your break even is going to be, and then how long it's going to take you to get ahead of the curve. So you know, originally I was like, why would you pay for a license? But there's real concrete reasons, and one of them is economic, and the other one is functionality. So, but thanks for that question, David. I'm going to pull this back down here again. Again, we're still making new lows. So ES is down 72. NASI 342. Dow 400. Shoot over to Germany. You got the DAX here at minus 327. Currencies, not that much to write home about in currencies, really. Crude oil, kind of, you know, rocking. You know, crude oil, light sweet crude Texas Intermediaries up to $75.58. Remember, it was negative last year. Same with natural gas. Natural gas is rocking. You know, gold just never got its legs. You know, this whole idea that, hey, gold is an inflationary hedge. It's a flight to quality. Well, no one's fleeing the gold right now, FYI. So I don't know. I'm not an expert in that market by any means, but silver's over $20. That's a big deal. And then I've got some other random markets down here. Treasury bonds, you know, up, down a handle and a half. It's also unique. That's not a normal day in Treasury bonds. So what's happening with the yield curve is the longer portion of the yield curve now is starting to move, right? It's starting to move. So as bond prices go up, 30-year bond prices go up, then that yield is going to, I'm sorry, those bond prices go down, the yield is going to go up, right? So that longer term, here, I'll show you. I just happen to have a little cheat sheet here. So let's just scroll down here, see if we have the yield curve. Yeah, so here's the yield curve. You got the Fed funds rate is what actually the Fed funds rate is what the Fed can control, right? They set the target. That's their primary tool. And then they could also get involved in the medium term and long term Treasury markets by purchasing securities and selling securities, and that's what all this discussion on tapering is all about. But this is the curve here, and if you look at, I believe that the black curve is right now, and then the blue is from a year ago, right? And they're just comparing the two and how they look differently. So you can see the long side of the curve, the longer debt, those rates are marching up a little bit faster. You know, if you're thinking in terms of like mortgages and stuff like that, the 10-year is kind of the benchmark for people to say, all right, how is this going to be related to my mortgage going forward? You want to keep an eye on the 10-year, and that's quoted on the TV all the time. And here's the 10-year right now. We're over 1.54 on the yield, and we haven't been there in a long time. Let's go back. Let's go year to date. So, you know, we're already kind of approaching back up in April here, where we're at right now. And we could go back a year if we want. And so, this is I got a subscription to the Wall Street Journal, so I get to see it this way. And these are relatively real time. I think it says 10:21, and we're 10:21. In any event, that's kind of what's happening here. And just finally, it's taken forever, but finally, the longer, the 30-year bond and the ultra bonds finally moving, right? They're finally moving off in the direction that we expected them to move a long time ago. Okay. Terrence asked about Ikamuchi Cloud. That's a whole class. That's a dedicated. Ikamuchi Cloud is a type of analysis technique that's it's way different than anything else, and that whole presentation would take an hour and a half all on its own, and that's not what we're going to talk about in Futures Trading 101. That's way beyond that course. But I'll put it on a list, and maybe we'll do a class specifically on it. Ikamuku Cloud. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. I apologize if I'm offending anybody. Javon Lal asks, what percentages is shown on the right of the candlestick? Is it Fibonacci? It is Fibonacci. This is exactly what it is. I have 100% at the top, and I drew it all the way down to the bottom. And actually, let's kind of refine it. Let's kind of drill it in a little bit better. Let me open this up all the way and see what's going on here with this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just slightly bring it down. And again, still no bottoms. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. No reason to buy anything yet. No reason to buy anything yet. Let's get some stability here. So yeah, this is a Fibonacci, and Fibonacci. I don't know how to say it, but literally 0%, 23.6, 38.2, 61.8. Those are your fib numbers. 50% is not a fib number, but it's kind of become a standardized part of this analysis, and it does have a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's almost always in my fib sequence here. I always keep it in there, and it's there by default. There's a 78.4 that I don't have up there right now, but if we retrace up to there, I'm going to say it's not a retracement anymore. It's a direction change. So really, if we start closing above 61.8%, it's going to give me some really good information about what's going on here. We're miles away from that right now, so we're not going to even worry about that. Again, I want to find a pull. I want this thing to kind of rally up here to the 23.6, and then at that point in time, we'd be considering, okay, maybe we'll put a trade entry in, right? Again, conservative approach. It's a very conservative approach, but a day like today, you got to be really, really careful, because the idea that this can't go any lower is nonsense. It could go a lot lower, or it can go a lot higher. I know it's an impulse everybody has. Oh, I'm going to buy the bottom, because that's what you want to do, right? You want to buy low, sell high. I'm going to buy the bottom right now. It can't go any lower. It could go lower, and we've seen it go lower. I don't care if it's down. What are we down here on the day? 73, and we could be down 100. Who knows? A long way from any circuit breakers factoring in here. All right, until I get this whole bar counter thing straightened out, I'm getting rid of it. I got to fix my clock. I'm just going to remove it. It's bugging me. Anyway, there's no signal. Mohammed asked about what is the signal waiting to go long. There's no signal what we're getting anytime soon to go long, right? What I'm trying to do here, somewhere between the bottom of the value area in the 23.6, I want to see retracement back up, and I want to get involved, and that's when I want to consider sending an order to sell, right? I want to see a natural kind of price oscillation back up, and then take advantage of it. But CCI is still minus 248. We're still heading down. I mean, if anything, I would try to sell one, on a breakout. And the breakout sell would look something like this. If we make new lows, I'm going to go ahead and sell on a stop, as opposed to having a protective. Oops, sorry about that. That would be selling on a stop, right? It's like, all right, hey, if we break new lows, then I want to get short, because I think the momentum is going to continue on further south. But again, these are a little bit dangerous because if you do sell on a breakout, and let me just kind of make it a little higher so we can get filled just for demonstration purposes. If we do get it, you know, you run the risk of selling at the bottom, which is the worst thing you could do. So the breakout trades need to be done in a proper environment, and right now it's probably not. So I would not do that, but that's how you would do it. I'm just going to cancel this. And so that's another thing about the order flow, you know, the lifetime license is you could literally trade from the chart, which may make it easier for you. It may not. It makes it easier for me. It just, you know, I could use the crosshairs. I could pick my price and get my trade in. You could also do the OCOs and all that stuff with it as well. When you buy, okay, so this is from Job. I'm going to really try to say your name right. Jai Venlao. Jai Venlao? Am I even close? Apologize. Says, when you buy, you will see the Fibonacci and other indicators like the CCI and SMA also. Oh, yeah. The indicators on the charts will always be there, right? They'll always be there. You know, once we do get involved with the position, you'll see that software will mark where your position is from, right? And we don't have a position yet, right? We're just waiting here patiently to see what happens here, see if we could establish some sort of bottom. Terrence asked about pivot points. No, I don't. Pivot points aren't my thing, but I don't want to. You can certainly use them with NinjaTrader, and it's a very valid and a very valid tool that a lot of people use, a lot of traders use. It's just that I try to keep my life simple, and you know, less is more in my view. Only because I've been doing this so long. I used to have a lot of stuff going on, and I decided, you know what, I want to be a little bit more conservative, a little bit more patient with my trading, and so I've kind of eliminated some stuff that you know, I couldn't figure out how to exploit. So let me put it that way. I don't use them personally, but I don't want to disparage them at all. I mean, they're definitely a good tool to use, pivot points, and you could use them with the charts pretty easily. So George asks, would you have used the double tops to enter this trade? Well, looking at this chart, I don't, you know, here's a double top. Maybe you got one here, you got one here. You know, these two levels, yeah, I mean, that's a good signal. I mean, this is kind of a weak top because it didn't retrace that much, you know, but then it did kind of move. So when you have a swing, you know, we start here, we go to A, we go to B, we go to C, and then D. Yeah, that could be a good signal, but I would use it in conjunction with other stuff that was going on here. And we saw this turnaround right at the open, right? So this candle right here, the 930 to 940 candle, is when the double top would have we would have had confirmation on the second candle. I wouldn't do it on the first candle. I would wait for confirmation on the second candle for this candle to close. And then sure enough, we could have, you know, you could have got short. Again, this is hindsight, but, you know, would have been a good signal, right? But I would want to do it in conjunction with everything else. I want to see the CCI sloping negative. You know, I want to see that moving average cross diverge. I mean, look at that divergence is huge on that on the moving average cross that I have down below. So to answer your question is, yeah, I mean, that's a good pattern. You know, double tops, head and shoulders, double bottoms. Those types of formations are very important when you're looking at some of these candles here. You know, this candle here it's not a real hammer, right? Because, well, it could have been considered a hammer, right? This would have been a false. This could have been a false signal because, you know, we had the formation here and we just kept on going down. Typically, if this was above a move, then it would be a good reversal pattern, but it wasn't. So sure enough, we had follow through on there right now. So now we have three candles now. This is good news. We have three candles, 1, 2, 3, that haven't traded below our low. And then what I could do is I could kind of even do let me just do another line real fast here. Just hit my F2 key. I'm just going to draw a line across here. And so now I've established an area an area of what I'm going to call finally support. And we'll see if it holds. I don't know if it's going to hold or not, but we haven't closed below my blue line, and we haven't traded below the candle shadow of the previous candle. So now, so now my trade idea. Let's kind of look at my trade idea in conjunction with where the volume profile is. So the bottom of the value area, this is that dark blue, is pretty far south of where my order is, right? So this is kind of a conservative kind of trade entry here. If you're going to be more aggressive, you would either pull this back down or do a second unit, a 2-unit trade right around that area, right around that area, and so it'd look like this. So right at the bottom of this extension line just shows you where the bottom of the point where the bottom of the value area is, right? So that would be kind of a more aggressive entry. This would be more of a conservative entry, and we'll leave them both in and see what happens. So Alfredo, I'm not going to cover footprints today, but you're right. I mean, footprints are good things, right? You can see the bid and asks in the actual bar themselves. And it does kind of show you the immediate, buying pressure and selling pressure. If I were trading in a faster time frame, then yeah, for sure, I'd probably want to look at those. But because I'm using a 10-minute chart, I'm looking for a couple of trades within this hour window. I'm going to be more patient. I'm really going to focus on the candle, the fib, and the regular volume profile to make my entry decisions right now. And we didn't, even this aggressive entry, in my mind, it's an aggressive. We didn't, it doesn't look like we're going to get it in the next couple of minutes, but we'll see. We're still trying to kind of find our low here. So if we close below my blue line, I'm going to have to move my blue line, right? And we have several more minutes before the next. Before the next candle pops up. So again, personal preference. If that's something you like to do, you should do it. Just get good at it and don't overcomplicate your life. Mohammed, you're exactly right. We're selling though, we're not buying. So I'm selling the retracement of the trend. And there's other folks might decide to buy the retracement of the trend. In other words, if this market stabilizes above that 23.6, you might say, well, okay, this is, it made it back up here, and it's going to make it up to the next level, so I want to get long. But that's not what I'm doing right now. There's too much negative stuff going on. I'm not interested in buying anything right this second, and I'm worried we're going to start making new lows again any minute. So until that worry is alleviated, and you're never 100% sure, I'm going to hang tight. I don't know. I'm at price prediction to drop. I mean, so Saad Ali asks from YouTube, what is your price prediction for it to drop? Well, I don't know. I mean, if I knew that, if I had any confidence in what the downside price is going to be, we'd be on a beach somewhere right now. But, looking at a daily chart, we're right up against this 43.51. This is another retracement number. And these retracement numbers are more powerful than you think, folks. They do have a self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes. I can't explain it. That's just my opinion and my experience over a long period of time. But the next step is certainly 5 more handles away. And then we're kind of in no man's land. And then my next area of interest is going to be this 100-day simple moving average, which is going to, it's going to change. But, right now it's at, 24. So that's the next level. And again, this is just kind of rough estimates. But when you look at a chart like this and you say, aha, there's, even though we're down 80 handles, there's a lot of downside here. There's a lot of blue space, a lot of blue sky. In any event, so that's what I would use to kind of give me some more information here. And we didn't quite get to the 23.6, but we got awfully close. I could put my bar on here and just kind of. The low was 54.25. So, 3 handles away. That's pretty good. That's pretty close. But I would still be a little bit patient. I'd wait for a better test. I want to see a sustained test there around the 51 to see if I want to consider going long. And then I do want to see some more some more action. All right, so my blue line is holding up though. This is encouraging. This is encouraging, folks. This blue line here that I just kind of drew, I just held my F2. That's a trick, by the way, just F2, and then you just draw your line. So you don't have to use the, there's a lot of hotkeys. Yeah, once you get those memorized, you'll be in good shape. Big buyers are coming back in right now at this bar. We have a pretty big wick or shadow, whatever you want to call it. We still have a few more minutes here, 2.5 more minutes before this bar is completed. So this is kind of positive. So right now, again, this will be in my view, this is an aggressive trade. And you can see the value area kind of shifted downward. So this order entry right here is a little bit higher than we originally intended it to be, but that's okay. It's okay. We'll just see. We'll just kind of see. It's right between these two. We're just a little bit north of these two, and we'll see if we could make a new high. So, good question. So Saad Ali asks, would you think it will have a major support by the 100-day moving average line? I've seen it happen both ways, right? Where it's major support, and you couldn't, we can't get through it. But then I've also seen like once that dam is breached, man, water is flowing out of that thing and you can't stop it, and it keeps moving down quickly. So I don't know. Either way, it could be a real thing. Okay, so there we go. We just got our first unit. We'll see what happens with the second unit right here. And what I'm going to do though is I'm going to put like an emergency stop loss in right now, and I'm going to use that 38.2% to put it in here right now. Best practices. I'm going to be a little bit above it for now. We're going to change it, but literally it's going to be a buy. Right, we're short one, so it would be a buy stop, and I needed to make it for 2. And so now I made it for 2. So just in case, we get some kind of real, let's just say, Capitol Hill just announced a deal for the debt package. Everyone agrees to it. Everyone's pumped up about it. This thing, just rallies, 100 handles. Well, you don't want to be left holding the bag here and blow out your account. So I have a stop here right now. And if your account's a smaller size account, you could do the exact same trade in the micro E-mini S&Ps, Mohammed uses VWAP. VWAP is a great tool also. We did experiment with VWAP for a few sessions. We can go back to that in the future. So you could get extensions. There's a couple different, there's extensions and projections for Fibonacci. And I haven't added those yet because I just didn't want too many lines here on the chart. But literally, you do need 3 pieces of data for that projection right now, and it would be a little awkward, right? We'd be high to where, to here, to there. So this isn't really good formation for a projection. But the extensions, yeah, we could have easily, you could literally edit this thing any way you want, and you could put whatever, you could add whatever price levels you'd like. I'm going to keep it the way it is. Okay, so right now, let's just kind of analyze these candles a little bit. We do have a higher high. It's a little than 2 candles ago, a little bit higher. Let's just make it a little bit even easier for everybody to see. I apologize for my chart management techniques. I know they're not the greatest. Again, bottom of the value area, right up against it. We have one of our units right here. What I want to see is another drive down to my another drive down to my 59 1/4, my magical line I just drew with my F2 key. Most of the indicators, guys. So when you're looking for indicators, you're going to right click on the chart, go to indicators, and you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff on here. And you're just going to, find the one you want. You want a whole moving average, there's a whole moving average. You want, a MACD, there's the MACD. You want order flow volume, VWAP, there's the order flow VWAP. Pivots, et cetera, et cetera. So they're all, I would go, download the software, just experiment with all of these different things and see if what you need is in there. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I'm not even familiar with all this stuff. I mean, there's stuff here I don't even know what it is, but linear regression, someone asked about earlier. So the answer is pretty much yes. And if it's not in this list, there's going to be a third-party indicator that's going to be generated by that's going to be, you'll be able to find on somewhere, a legitimate third-party plugin, if you will. Okay, so one other functionality thing I want to show. You can see up here. So I'm working in sub account 1, right? Sim account number 1. My cash value started out at 12,561. And I'm using margin on these, and my unrealized P&L is right here. It's moving around in real time, right? I'm down $125. My total P&L is you just add unrealized and realized, and then you'll be that's how you would do that. If I wanted to look at positions, I'd click here and look at positions. It would show me my positions, executions, and orders. That's how that whole thing works. Okay, so let me just kind of open this up again. Let's just take a look at bonds again. Where are they at? Still kind of stable. Down 1 in 14/30. That's 1.5 handles. So it hasn't really moved that much lately. All right, let's see if we can get our second unit in. Then we're going to put in some profit targets and kind of think about where the stop is. If it's in a good place, it's in a bad place. The CCI now is 113. The slope of the CCI isn't bad. It's not bad. It's not extreme. I'm going to estimate that at about 45-degree angle, which is telling us we are kind of moving up in price a little bit. But the gap between the two moving averages are still diverging, and I have a feeling here something's not set up right. So let me just double check it to make sure it is on each tick. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, I'm in good shape. All right, so I feel kind of comfortable right now. We'll just kind of hang tight. We're going to wait for another candle or so. It's 10:43. We've got some time here for another candle. Now on the flip side, we drew that blue line at the bottom. Let's draw this blue line at the top here. Again, it's just it's not exact science, right? But I just want a visual crutch to tell me, hey, we haven't closed above here in quite some time. We've traded it. We tried to get in there. So in my mind, this is short-term area of resistance from here up, and the short-term area of support from down below. We've kind of framed the conversation right now, right? We put a frame around it, and it gives us an ability to kind of think about, where buyers and sellers are pushing this thing around at right now. Morph asks, are these videos recorded so we can watch again? Yes, they are. They will be recorded on the NinjaTrader YouTube channel. I'm sorry, I'm missing a bunch of questions. I apologize. So different workstations. Alfredo asks one question: when you have multiple workspaces, do they stay open when you switch from one to another? I'm not sure I understand the question. So I have workspaces up here. If I change to a different workstation, then it's going to show me that the windows that I have open in that workstation. So yeah, when you toggle back and forth, it's not going to add them all over the place. Otherwise, it would defeat the purpose of having a different workspace, right? Workspace is unique to the view you want to save and keep. Frank asks, can you please go to volume profile? I'm trying to keep my eye on this trade, but okay. Can you please go to volume profile and select profile type values? I'm going to go here, volume profile indicators, order flow volume profile. And those are the settings that I have right now. Those are my settings. And I think, and Frank is asking, and select profile type. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could base it on volume, you could base it on tick, you could base it on price. my preference is volume. I want to see where price happiness is. So, I don't even know what happens when I click on these things. But again, download the software, play around with it, risk-free demo account, and see if it does what you want it to do. Alfred, when you toggle back to another workstation, your data feed's going to kick in. Yeah, you're not going to have. You're not going to have to wait to reload the data. It's really fast. It should be seamless. You shouldn't even see it. You know what I mean? It's just if you got a normal internet connection, you're in good shape. Amit asks, time remaining feature. Well, we have 23 hours. This is a 23-hour session. We got a lot of time remaining. Are you talking about the bar countdown? Yeah, my computer clock's not in sync with anything. So, but if you want to add it, it's just bar timer. That's it. And just add it to the bottom, and it'll show up here. Just make sure your computer clock's in sync. Mine is not. Bad on me. In any event, I'm just scrolling back up here, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, I think we're in good shape. All right, so let's look at our trade though. Is our trade ID in good shape? I don't know. CCI is still minus 100. That's a positive thing. Moving average cross isn't doing much. Candle is approaching our second entry right here. Although we have some room to go, right? We have some room to go. We have good 5 handles to go before we get that. And once we do get that, we'll have a 2-unit trade on. And then we'll have some work to do. We have some trade management work to do right now, but we're not there yet. We're still kind of in this kind of, finally we've kind of have some kind of equilibrium, right, between support. Support on the bottom and resistance on the top. And if we look over to our profile, we're going to see volume accumulating. Let me open this up better so everybody could see. Sorry for the bad mouse movements. But we're with the trend right now, so I feel good, even with 1 unit. And once we kind of approach to the next bar, then we could. So now at this point now we're 4 handles into the trade, and we could do some stuff, right? We could say, hey, we could move our stop to break even. It would look something like this. What I would do though is I would cancel this order. Order canceled. I'm going to change this to a 1. Order canceled. And then you could move it all the way down to break even plus a tick and say, okay, you know what? We're off to the races here. I want to try to, go ahead and get out of this, and then see if we can approach our target again, which is that blue line that I have down there right now, and just kind of, So what I've done is I've kind of changed the trade idea from one of patience to one of, hey, we're in the money now. We got 6 handles on this trade. What's the best way to get out? So I move my stop to break even and say, hey, even if I'm wrong right now, this is, I'm protected on the downside, right? I'm protected on the downside. And we could be patient and wait and see if this downward pressure is going to occur again. If I just line up my mouse with the actual volume profile, we're accumulating volume at this bar right here, which is right north of where we want to be to try to get that target. And we're almost there. It's one of these things where you're like biting your fingernails, like, oh man, are we going to get there? But you could always, again, you could keep managing your stop downward if you want. What you could do is just move it down to just right above this high, right, of this candle, and say, hey, we're not going to make another higher high. There's sellers coming in. Or you could liquidate altogether and just say, I want to get out. I'm happy with 6 handles, 7 handles, 8 handles. I'm good to go. Or you could stick with the original trade ID and say, I'm going to be here all day. I'm going to wait. It's really your preference. And once you get into this mode of what your mojo is, then stick with it and then get good at it and get good at that time frame, get good at that strategy, and apply patience accordingly. And hopefully you'll have a chance, man. You'll have a chance to do well. Wojciech asks, Okay, so we got stepped out. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and click. I'm going to make sure you cancel this order. We're still trading in this range right here. You know, it was $100. You know, it was $100 trade, which again simulated trade. So don't get too crazy. But again, I'm looking for places to sell still. I'm not seeing any reason to look for places to buy right now. Other than I should line this up better. I should line that up a little bit better there. Okay, Bitcoin. What would you guess? Are we able to trade Bitcoin futures through Infinity? Well, that's a different trading platform and everything. You could. The micros, though, I would do the micro. I don't think you could trade the big ones there, but I would do the micro. What is it? MBT, or I don't even remember this ticker symbol. I'm not a Bitcoin futures fan, FYI, but you could trade them, and you could trade them with this too, with NinjaTrader. So I just decided, I just moved my stop. That's all I did. I just moved my stop a little bit lower. I wanted to, lock in some semblance of profit on that. So I did that. I moved the stop down lower, and then I did get stopped out. Now, do I think would it have been a successful trade if I wouldn't have moved my stop and just let it go to try to find new lows? And I think that's a very, very, very strong possibility. And if you think about it, let me just draw an ellipse right now. And pretty much since we've been talking, the market's been landlocked, right? We've been kind of trading in here ever since we started, 10:10, like 10 minutes after we got going. And so right now, the market's kind of establishing some equilibrium. It might be short term. Price happiness right now. Expect these volume bars to accumulate volume. And at a certain point, obviously, I'm not going to say anything that everybody else here doesn't know. We're either going to go ahead and retracement is going to be a real retracement, and we're going to kind of move back up, or we're going to break on down to lower. Right now, I feel like the pressure of this market is negative. And I don't see anything to change that at this very minute. Right. So when I moved my buy stop, I was short. I moved my buy stop down, and then eventually the regular price action of the market stopped me out. So because my stop was moved down to a position of profitability, that's why the trade's successful, even though I got stopped out. So again, active trade management is an okay thing for sure. And there's going to be folks that are going to want to trade this range here that we just had that rectangle on. They're going to want to buy here and sell up here. In my opinion, the bias is still pretty far south. The value area just shifted now. The bottom of the value area now is 64.25. So as this thing moves down, this is pretty negative in my mind. So I would definitely be looking to sell again once we can get some sort of retracement here. My new target is going to be probably where this big volume bar is right here. And then my second unit would be above the 23.6. So it'd look something like this for a 2-unit trade, right? This would be something, wait for the retracement back up. Hopefully we get a fill here. Maybe we get a second fill here. And then we could hopefully see some more downward price action, which seems to be the theme of the day. Alfredo is retiring. Congratulations. I hope you got the gold watch. Appreciate you coming today. That's it. Anything else, just type them in right now. I thank you everybody for coming. I do want to remind everybody that trading futures options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, and that's for all traders and investors. Easy on the margin, risk capital only. We're in a real-time practice account today. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. Oh, one of the things I didn't do, by the way, hang on, don't go. Hang on. I didn't go over my notes. So every morning, for those of you who are new, I make some notes. And here's my email address, by the way, jim.cagnina@ninjatrader.com. And then here's where you're going to see let me open this up for you. All the webinars that we do at NinjaTrader. There's a lot of them here. Feel free to go through this list. And if there's anything appealing to you, feel free to join us. Now, the notes are, okay, what economic releases are coming out? What's the result of those economic releases? I used a Kano day today just to cut and paste to see what those were. And I do this every morning, and I kind of go through it and have an idea what's happening. What kind of earnings are coming out today. Here's some of the bigger, I don't know if these ones are that important, to be honest with you, but here's some of the earnings that are coming out today. And then I have this Fed overhang taper tantrum. I should have also added here debt ceiling. These are two keywords here, things going on in the world. And then I have my notes, right? What do we do right? What do we do wrong? Early morning, and I'll type in here some notes, and I'll kind of look at those the next day and see if, and hopefully I don't make mistakes again, right? Because sometimes we make mistakes. We trade and we have a bad trade, and sometimes we have a good trade. So big down move. And then, patience. And then, okay trade. And, we'll keep a monitor to see what happens next. What happens next? And I'll keep what happens next, and I'll keep looking at this thing. But, we used the candles properly, I think, today. I'm going to hit save button here. Close that up. And that's what I do every day. I just keep updating that. And look at this. We're breaking new ground here, guys. Be careful if you're buying. That's all I'm going to say. David, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Tova, thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, anytime, just reach out to me, jim.cagnina@ninjatrader.com. Go to the YouTube channel. Go to ninjatrader.com. Go to the YouTube channel. There's a little icon for the new, let me show you. Hang on. Don't leave yet. If you scroll down, and it's going to take a while for this event to be recorded and sent up there, but there's this little button here, YouTube. You're going to continue onto that, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of stuff. So I just go to videos, this video tab here, and it'll show you. There's a lot of stuff here, a lot of really good stuff here. So in any event, that's how you do it. Bob, thanks. Appreciate you being here. Heading to Glentis, thank you for being here. Have fun at your next meeting, and we'll see how low we can go today in this particular market. Take care, everybody. Thanks for being here. Hopefully see you tomorrow. And remember, be safe out there and be good to each other. Take care.